Welcome to the Refusion Podcast, where we transform patient care.
Welcome to the deep dive. We take your source materials, articles, research notes, whatever you've got, and really unpack the key insights. The goal is to get you well informed, quickly.
And today, we're looking closely at online reputation management, specifically for surgeons based on the material you provided us.
Right. So our mission here is to explore why this online reputation stuff is so crucial for surgeons today.
Yeah, and what the potential impacts are, both good and bad. And importantly, what the practical strategies are, according to these sources, for, managing it effectively.
We'll look at some interesting stats, I think, and sort of get into the nuances of handling patient feedback when it's out there online.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The sources make it really clear. Online rep isn't just like a nice to have anymore.
No, it seems pretty fundamental in healthcare now. Patients are really relying on what they find online.
Heavily. Especially for big decisions like choosing a surgeon.
So how heavily are we talking? Do the sources give numbers?
They do. One figure that stands out is about 84% of people. They're using Google specifically when they check out healthcare reviews.
84% just on Google. That's huge.
It is. And there's another number. Around 73% of patients actively look at online reviews before choosing a healthcare provider.
Wow. So nearly 3/4 of people are letting online reviews guide that choice.
Which, directly translates to impact. Good reviews, they attract patients, they build that vital trust, enhance credibility.
And the flip side, I imagine, negative reviews.
Yeah, they can really discourage people. Lower trust, damage the surgeon's reputation pretty quickly.
The stakes are high. What kind of consequences are we talking about if a surgeon's online reputation is less than positive?
Well, the most direct one is business loss. Your sources point out potential patients might just go elsewhere.
Makes sense. If you see bad reviews, you'll probably keep looking.
Exactly. And beyond that, the material mentions potential legal or ethical difficulties too. So serious.
Legal issues even. Okay. That definitely raises the stakes.
It does. What's kind of interesting, though, is who leaves the negative feedback. It's not everyone.
Oh. What did the sources say about that?
Well, overall, only about 32% of patients actually leave negative reviews.
Okay, so it's a minority, but probably a vocal one.
Perhaps. And there's a demographic skew. Younger patients, the sources note, are much more likely to voice dissatisfaction online compared to, say, older patients.
Interesting. So, while maybe not a huge volume overall, the negative comments that do appear carry weight, especially with younger people, and can have these broad impacts.
Precisely. Which, makes the rewards of a positive reputation seem even more important to focus on.
Right. And the benefits aren't just more patients, are they? Though that's obviously key.
No, it's more than that. Increased trust, better credibility, sure. But the material says patients actually prefer surgeons with that positive online footprint.
So it actively helps build their brand, makes them look like an expert.
Exactly. It establishes them. And here's a really interesting point for your sources. They mention a potential link to improved patient outcomes.
Really? Better outcomes linked to online reputation. How does that work?
Well, the sources don't draw a direct, A causes B line, but they suggest connections. Maybe patients trust surgeons with good reps more, so they follow instructions better.
Or maybe they feel more comfortable asking questions, engaging more in their own care.
Could be. Or maybe surgeons who consistently get good outcomes and communicate well just naturally get better reviews. It's likely a bit of both, reflecting good practice.
That adds a lot of weight to it. It's not just marketing spin. It could actually tie into the quality of care itself.
It seems that way.
Okay, so given all this, the risks, the rewards, what are the practical things surgeons can actually do? What strategies do the sources recommend?
Your material lays out 5 key strategies, and the first one is, pretty foundational. You have to monitor online reviews and feedback.
Just know what's being said. Seems obvious, but crucial.
Absolutely. Especially when, as your sources say, 40% of patients might reject a provider based on poor reviews.
40%. Wow. And that's 73% checking reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you need to be watching platforms like Google Health Grades.
Right. And the sources point out that doing this manually, just searching all the time, is really inefficient.
I can imagine. It'd take forever. So what's the alternative?
Using reliable online reputation tools. The material you gave mentions Refusion as one example, a platform specifically for healthcare.
So using tech to automate that monitoring and collecting of feedback.
Exactly. It helps you stay on top of it without drowning in manual searches.
Okay, makes sense. What's strategy number 2?
Responding to negative reviews. And the key is professionally.
Right, because just ignoring them probably looks bad too.
It does. Negative reviews hurt, obviously, but how you respond shows you care, shows you're listening.
So what are the specific tips for responding according to the sources?
Okay, they say, respond quickly, offer an apology, or explain the situation if it's appropriate, and crucially, try to take the conversation offline to resolve it.
Get it out of the public comment section. Smart.
Definitely. And here's a big don't. Do not ask the patient to delete their review.
Oh, why not? Seems like that would solve the problem.
The material warns you can seem really insincere, like you're just trying to silence them. It can actually backfire and make things worse.
Okay, good to know. Address it, don't try to erase it, and thank them.
Yes, always thank them for the feedback, even if it's tough to hear. It shows professionalism.
Got it. Strategy 3.
Promoting the positive stuff. So positive press, and especially patient testimonials.
Using those good experiences as marketing tools.
Exactly. Testimonials are powerful, the sources say, especially on the practice's own website.
Why are they so effective?
Well, a few reasons listed. They provide social proof. Seeing others vouch for the surgeon builds credibility.
Like a recommendation from a friend almost?
Kind of. They also add a human touch, showing real interactions, which helps connect with potential patients. And ultimately, they help with patient acquisition. A good story might be the deciding factor for someone.
Okay, testimonials are key. What's number 4?
Managing social media and the practice website. Maintaining a professional image there.
So social media isn't just for personal updates anymore for surgeons.
Not according to these sources.
Yeah.
They list a bunch of uses. Researching competitors, gauging patient satisfaction, engaging with the community on health topics.
Providing reliable info, too, maybe. Countering misinformation.
Yes, that's mentioned. Also, monitoring third-party sites, communicating in real time during, say, a hospital crisis, and even gathering more patient feedback.
So it's an active tool, not just a static page. And the 5th strategy.
Using a patient engagement platform. This sort of ties back to the tech aspect, like the monitoring tools.
Okay, how does an engagement platform help with reputation specifically?
Well, the material explains these platforms improve things for patients, like access to their health info, personalized care options, virtual visits.
And for the providers?
They help them communicate more efficiently, handle scheduling, send reminders, basically streamline interactions.
And for the patients themselves?
They can participate more actively in their care, track their progress, get feedback, even connect with others.
So how does that connect back to managing reputation and addressing issues?
Well, think about common problems the sources mention. Getting reviews that are inaccurate or just too infrequent. Or maybe not having a clear process when a patient is unhappy.
So the platform creates more touch points, more chances for feedback.
Exactly. It can create direct feedback loops. And the sources, again, use Repugen as an example here, describing it as software that helps surgeons connect with patients throughout their journey.
To understand their experience better and ensure satisfaction.
Right. The idea is to collect feedback proactively to see where improvements can be made, which in turn helps ensure the online reputation accurately reflects the quality of care.
And how does it help reflect that satisfaction? What does it actually do?
The sources say it uses things like patient profiles to track the journey, schedules automated reports, maybe asking for feedback after appointments, and analyzes data like patient loyalty.
That automation sounds like a really big deal for busy surgeons.
Huge time saver, yes. The sources emphasize that. Compared to manually calling or emailing patients for feedback. Much more efficient.
So it helps solicit more reviews more consistently.
Yeah, it's presented as a valuable tool for that. And also for service recovery, catching dissatisfaction early. Plus, it keeps all that feedback organized in one place. Configurable options, too, apparently, to suit different practices.
Okay, so those are the 5 core strategies. Beyond those, what about overall best practices? What else do the sources highlight for just building and keeping a good reputation?
They boil it down to 4 main things. First, and maybe this sounds obvious, but provide excellent patient care, which means more than just the surgery going well, right?
Absolutely. It's the whole experience. Positive interactions, friendly staff, skilled people, efficient processes. The sources even mention staff training as key.
So the entire team impacts the reputation. Makes sense. What's second?
Communicate effectively with patients. Really build that rapport and trust.
By asking the right questions, really listening, understanding their knowledge level, involving family if needed, identifying any barriers they might have to understanding or following care plans.
Good communication prevents misunderstandings, which could lead to bad reviews later, I suppose.
Exactly. Third best practice. Always be looking for ways to improve and stay current.
So continuing education, new tech.
Yep. And importantly, using patient feedback itself to drive continuous improvement in care delivery. Not just for reputation, but for actually getting better.
Using feedback as a quality improvement tool. Smart. And the last one.
Encourage satisfied patients to leave positive reviews.
Proactively asking.
Yeah, frame it as an enhancement. And the sources circle back here to that stat. 8 out of 10 patients check reviews. It just underlines how vital managing this online presence is.
And I guess if you're doing the first 3 things well, great care, good communication, always improving, patients will be satisfied.
That's the idea. Then using tools to make it easy for them to share that positive experience just closes the loop.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, it's really clear from your sources that online reputation isn't just, something on the side for surgeons anymore.
No, it's absolute central. It requires active work monitoring, responding thoughtfully, using proactive strategies.
And leveraging technology and just fundamental best practices in patient care and communication to build that trust online.
Yeah, everything from Google reviews to social media to dedicated platforms plays a role, as your sources highlight. It all feeds into attracting patients and ensuring they feel satisfied.
It really shows how much the patient's voice, being so visible online now, influences healthcare choices.
It does, and maybe a final thought for you, digging into these sources. In a world where that online reputation is so visible, so influential, how does focusing on managing that digital self really align with the core mission of just providing the absolute best surgical care possible?
It's a fascinating balance, isn't it?
Thanks for listening to the Repugium Podcast, your path to better healthcare.